The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your Coffee Time crew.
Well, good Tuesday morning, everyone. And as always, welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. I'm joined today with Pedro and Carol, the regular crew. We all here in effect. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, don't call us the regular crew. Call us the dynamic duo.
Okay.
The regular crew sounds so boring. I'm here with the regular crew. Nah, just playing.
Okay, well, we're going to come up with something more catchy, the terrific trio or something like that.
Hey, I like
Hey,
that.
there you go. Something. All right, Ed, go for it. Yeah. Next time I hear this, I want to hear something good.
Okay, I'll try to remember that. So anyway, just a little bit of notice. The two normally scheduled interest groups for the night, makeup, skincare with Aletha and a lady support group. Both of them have some things going on today, so they canceled. They apologized, but they promised they will be back. Back on the schedule again for next month. They just needed some personal time today, so it just worked out that they both needed the day off, right? So anyway, maybe in the future we can get somebody that can cover and maybe, facilitate when these ladies do need to take off, because it is all volunteer-based organization. So, you can't be mad when somebody needs to take some time off, right?
True.
So, but anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our articles for the day. So I know out here, my sister Carol, I know y'all dealing with it, whatever. It's actually all across the country. We got this heat wave, man, is crazy. So anyway, this article is going to give us a little explanation as to why it's coming in early and hanging out late. So check this out.
Hey, Blind United crew. Grab your first cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this first article as a potent heat dome begins to build over much of the United States this week, sending temperatures soaring into the triple digits. It serves as a powerful reminder of a dangerous reality. Heat waves are changing. They are becoming more intense, lasting longer, and according to experts, we may be seriously underestimating the threat they pose to our health and safety. This isn't just a summer inconvenience. It's a significant public health challenge. Scientific consensus points to climate change as the driving force behind the shift. Heat waves are not only getting hotter, but they are also arriving earlier in the spring and lingering later into the fall. This expansion of the warm season means our bodies and our infrastructure have less time to recover between extreme heat events, increasing the cumulative stress and risk on everything from our power grid to our personal health. The phenomenon currently building is known as a heat dome, which occurs when a strong high-pressure system traps hot air over a region, sometimes for days or even weeks. This lid-like effect prevents the hot air from escaping and leads to stagnant, dangerously high temperatures. A critical danger of these events is that overnight temperatures often fail to drop significantly, robbing our bodies of the chance to cool down and recover, which can lead to severe heat-related illnesses. Experts warn that we often underestimate heat, which is frequently a silent killer. Unlike more visually dramatic weather events, heat's danger is insidious. It can lead to dehydration, heat exhaustion, and life-threatening heat stroke. These conditions are especially dangerous for vulnerable populations, including the elderly, young children, outdoor workers, and individuals with chronic health conditions like heart or respiratory disease. Adapting to this new reality requires a shift in our collective awareness and preparation. It means recognizing the signs of heat stress, staying hydrated by drinking water before you even feel thirsty, and seeking out air-conditioned spaces like libraries or designated community cooling centers during the peak of the day. It also means strengthening our community bonds by checking in on elderly or vulnerable neighbors who may be at greater risk. Heat waves require us to adapt and look out for one another. We invite you to not only share your thoughts on this growing challenge, but also share your best tips for staying cool and safe during extreme heat in the comments below. Your idea could help someone else. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, all right. FYI, Pedro, Monica says you've already had too much coffee, dog.
What I told you before the show. What I told you before the show.
So anyway, good morning, Monica.
Good morning, baby.
Good
But yes, I
morning.
told them before the show. Watch, Monica's gonna notice I had some coffee. Like coffee
So,
affects me different sometimes than most people.
yeah, but anyway, we'll get back into this article. I mean, this heat dome thing. I mean, me not being a scientist or whatever, how the hell y'all know it's a dome? And what's creating the dome? I mean, what's the surface, the outside surface that's trapping the heat underneath it? I mean, what is that? I mean, I don't know.
Mm. Well,
You know,
that's what I was always had a question on, and I was like, how they know it's an atmospheric river, a heat dome? Now these are new terms we are
right,
hearing in our newscast.
right.
Hmm.
And
You
I
know,
believe it's a pressure, maybe a upwards pressure with a downwards pressure, and it makes like a you can like a
it
per
just
se a
forcing
wall,
the right, creating a wall of,
and
like
forcing the heat to stay at the bottom and the cool air on top, and making maybe a heat dome. I'm not so scientific, but I can kind of see the method they're going and what they're trying to explain. But I was like that too. I was like, what they mean by a dome?
what?
What they
Yeah,
mean by a
exactly.
river in the
Uh,
atmosphere?
Well, and I guess, a logical mind says, okay, a dome is a physical thing. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
if
Something
you don't
that's
have,
covered.
in air, I mean, I guess air is physical, but at the same time, it's not like you say a material is hard. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Create a wall or whatever. I don't know, but
It's like when you
anyway.
put two magnets together and they repel each other.
Well, okay. Now, I had to go with that one because that one sounds good.
You know, and think
Right.
about it too. Like they might have updated new weather instruments that are able to detail way more, and
Uh,
we're just gathering that they might be using instruments a little later. You know, we might not
uh,
know that they have new type of instruments now. You know,
uh,
I haven't kept
oh, I
up with
hear you.
the way they do
Well,
things now. You know,
I hope they maintain it because they funding got cut back as well.
ooh,
Uh,
Oh,
oh
wow.
yes,
Oh,
you're
wow.
right.
That's crazy.
Oh wow,
I'm thinking
okay.
that, because of all the concrete, the heat has less place to go compared to, like, you got the deserts, certain states, Arizona, Vegas,
So you're
they
saying
have
the planet is not able to absorb the heat because of all the urban whatever
landscape.
development. Hmm.
landscape? Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yes.
can.
that's
And think
true.
about it. Our concrete was not made to support that much heat. It could crackle. It can, it starts making more potholes, all kinds of things. Even our energy grid is going to call for more shutdowns,
Well,
longer
that's the
periods
biggest
too.
worry right there.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Them rolling blackouts.
Yeah,
You know.
yes, correct,
You
correct,
know.
Karen. That is a
So
thing. And this is where it leads to when they kind of cut back even on state funding to our electric grid. And in certain parts in America, we need to update our grid. It needs to be updated, kept up to par as well, because we have incidents like this with the with the global climate change that's happening and the longer periods that the heat is coming, we need to maintain our infrastructure, and that's our electric infrastructure. And then even when it comes to the winter, because we're gonna have excessive cold too, and that means pipes freezing, and that means uh we need the power grid to work because we need folks to have that heat, the heats to work, the heaters and stuff like that, even if it's a space heater, you know?
Right. Right. I mean, states need to talk with one another. You look at the states that are normally cold, Minnesota, Virginia, they deal with a lot of that. So, if some of these representatives would actually communicate with one another, here it is, Texas, we deal with a lot of heat, Vegas, Arizona, so they're designing things that are able to withstand it. But with everything that's changing right now in the atmosphere, you just aren't able to continue to hold that up. And so the grids are failing. If
Yes.
they would just start investing in a lot of this new wind and all of these other things that can
Even new.
help save the planet and keep
So
us cool.
I was watching this documentary on Georgia. Georgia
Mm,
is one of the states that still uses coal.
okay.
Mm,
Okay.
Okay,
the
and they
so-called
have
clean coal.
right the coke is what they call it.
Right.
Okay, so the crazy part is it comes in nuggets and then they crush it to a dust like talcum powder
Mm,
before they
Mm,
feed it into the furnace, right? But
right.
anyway, so they have three different power systems. They have one that runs 24/7, 365. They have another one that kicks in, during peak hours, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say from 10 to 7 or 8.
Right.
Okay. Then in these extreme weather events, they have another one that kicks in and just handles the extra load,
Hmm.
and then they shut it down. That's part of their thing to, number one, try to limit the
relieve the
emissions.
stress.
Well, number one, first,
Hmm.
they use a three-tier system to they're not polluting the air as bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So number two, they handle the demand in phases, right?
Yes.
And then again, and they're all three plants. They're spread out throughout the state. They're not
Ah,
bunched up together. They're spread out.
right.
Okay.
Right.
So again, but that sounds like a really good system. I
Like a
mean,
robust system, yeah, that could withstand, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, again, this cat, and we got these naysayers. They don't believe in the solar. They don't believe in the wind.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
All of this other kind of stuff. Well, no, I'm sorry. Whatever little bit we can put in the grid
Right.
is a
Whatever works.
plus. You know what I'm saying? Plus, when
Whatever
you really
works.
dig into the nationwide system, right? They they can reroute power from California to New York and vice versa, where they can reroute it wherever they need. They just can't do it instantaneously because, again, I'm watching these documentaries. I do a lot of discovery, y'all. So please, excuse me. But anyway, they it's like they got a freeway, okay, and then they have where they're sending these big megawatts. I mean, 300,000-400,000 megawatts.
Gigawatts.
Well, whatever the bigger one is.
Kilowatts.
No, no, no. Those are all in the mix. But whichever one is the biggest,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
the one. That's the one they send on the main freeway. Then they have the other interstate, which is they break it down to a more well, now they're supplying it to the states in a less wattage, right? All
Mm-hmm.
this is done through transformers. You feel
Mm,
me? And
mm.
Right.
then by the time they get to, where they're getting ready to send it to us, it goes through another relay station, through another transformer that breaks it down to the 220
Okay.
for us to
Okay.
use. So I mean, it's a big wide system. So my point being, if you had all of these production
Mm-hmm. If everybody
across.
will work together and just put the
If everybody
solar
would work
power.
together
Oh my
and put it
God.
all on one grid, then we good.
Yeah.
We good. You know,
Yeah.
so but on the flip side of that, y'all please stay hydrated, all that good stuff. You know, if you're working out in the heat, whatever, you gotta be out there, man. Please stay hydrated.
A water bottle can
You know,
help. A
uh
cold towel.
Powerade,
sunscreen, you know,
Gatorade.
make sure you get your sunscreen, all that kind of stuff, you know. And again, another important, I noticed this last night. I was really paying attention to it. Maybe it was after because I, you know, did this article, right? But, you know, that thing about not cooling down enough at night and allowing
Mm-hmm.
our body temperature. So, I mean, last night, you know, at night, after I turn my air on or whatever, turn it off, I'm sorry, you know, pop them windows open, right? Man, it was feeling good last night, and I was under my blankets and everything. I almost felt like I was sweating. I said, wait a minute. I thought about it. You know, wait a minute. My body needs to cool off. I kicked them covers off, and I mean, I could feel the chill all over my whole body, but it was comfortable.
Mm.
It actually allowed me to, you know, I don't know. I feel like I got a little bit better rest, you know. So, again, whatever you got to do to let your body cool down at night, you know, if you can, do it. You know, maybe, you know, like certain temperature don't go down enough, but if you put a fan in front of it or whatever, it's going to put a chill to that air, and that could help you cool down as well. So,
That's
uh,
true.
you know, as long
Yeah,
as it ain't 90 or 100 degrees, you don't want to be blowing heat, right?
and then they got these $20, $30 devices like the fans you could put in front of you, in a table. You could clip them on, or you could clip them around your neck. There's ones that look like headsets that you wear around your neck, and it shoots air up to your ears, your neck, to your
Yeah.
head.
They
You
got
know.
different devices, and we're
Hmm.
going to need them. I mean, we talked about this last time. We kind of covered the same
Hmm.
thing,
Right.
you know.
Right.
You know, I mean, I mean, I realize as well. You know, I notice I do this every year anyway, but I think I'm gonna turn my bed down a little bit more now. Let my bed be a little bit cooler. That way, it'll help my body cool down at night.
True. True.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, not everybody can do that, but hey, I'm gonna give it a shot. So, but anyway, no, but again, we got, you know, and regardless of what they say, again, this stuff is coming in earlier. Look how early it is. I mean, come on, man. I cannot remember me having to turn. I literally started turning my air on in March. Well, no, I'm sorry, May. That's what it was. That's when I first turned my air on. Is May.
Right.
You know, and now here we are in June, and I mean, you know, I'm thankful for these few days. Right now, I'm, you know, in the low 80s. You know, I know that's hot for Pedro when I'm in LA, and I don't know how that is for you out there in Texas, what your normal is, but out here in the Inland Empire, 80 is a good day.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't never turn my air on till it gets above 85 or so.
Right. Right.
You know, so but anyway, do what you got to do to stay cool. I mean, hopefully you can get some assistance on your bill. Get it while you can, because again, old boys cutting out a lot of different programs, so ain't no telling what we're going. That's another thing. You know, I hated to go political on it, but how about this one? Public utilities are subsidized, but yet they steadily going up on us. They steadily going on up. How do you subsidize a profit corporation?
Hmm.
That you know, for me, that's well, I guess if we
It's
go back to
robbery.
corporate welfare, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Corporate
corporate
welfare.
welfare.
They're getting
Corporate,
richer.
you know, off the
Eh,
app. And at the same time, they run the prices up on us. So
Hmm.
now we paying more. They not invested into their infrastructure. So now we end up paying more. So I mean, come on, y'all. We got to
It's
do
starting to
something
be
better.
really noticeable. It's like they're not caring about it being visible now. About
Right. They're only worried about their bottom line.
oh
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's all about the money.
You know.
And it's really important to make sure you check on your elderly neighbors. You know, a lot of them, unfortunately, you know, they're on fixed incomes and they will gamble with the air because
Yeah.
they don't want to run it because it may be high. And, they deal with a lot of medical issues, things of that sort. So if you have elderly neighbors in your neighborhood, please check on them to just make sure that they're okay.
Yeah, please do. Please do. And again, they're looking at it as bottom line. A lot of these things, the utilities, they're a health thing. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Especially when we're
Yes.
talking about utility, staying cool, staying warm, all this kind of stuff. That's all health stuff. So quit playing, man. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. We got a lot of this, stuff going on in the planet, and we still got a couple more articles to get through. So hit me with a couple of these promos, Pedro.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Blind United.
Yo, Coffee Time crew, it's about to get live. Blind United's throwing it back. 1995. On July 26th, the place to be. From 1 to 6, come and party with we. Just 20 to 5, that's all you pay. To vibe with the drive the 90s way. Tootsie Roll, Running Man, and the Roger Rabbit. Biggie on the track, and we gotta have it. Stone Cold the Rock, bringing all the hype. Snapbacks, cross colors, the 90s type. So call your crew and step through the door. Blind United's 90 jam, can't ignore. Saturday the 26th, it's going down. Where the love is loud and the beats are style.
All right. Well, that's our new promo about our event we got coming up July 26th. We throwing a 90s party, y'all. And hey, get out your 90s gear, whatever you got. Like you say, snapbacks and all that. And, come out and hang out with us. We're going to have some trivia, 90s trivia and stuff going on. We're going to, man, we even got a Purple Rain cocktail. All right.
Come do the Tootsie Roll.
Oh, Tootsie Roll.
That bag, them cross colors.
And maybe that Purple Rain cocktail gonna have you doing the Tootsie Roll. So anyway, Tisha says good morning. Good morning, Tisha. But anyway, yeah. So let's get into this next one. Last week we was talking about, are we in this war or not? You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess Trump made a decision for us. So check this out.
Hey, Blind United crew. Grab your next cup. As the Coffee Time crew gets into the second article, the world is holding its breath this morning as a fragile and frankly confusing situation unfolds in the Middle East. After nearly 2 weeks of direct and devastating military exchanges between Israel and Iran, a ceasefire announced by the U.S. hangs in the balance, contradicted by reports of ongoing missile fire and deep-seated distrust between the warring nations. This conflict marks the most direct and overt military confrontation between the two regional powers in history. The war, which began around June 13th, has seen intense Israeli airstrikes on targets deep inside Iran, including its capital, Tehran. In response, Iran has launched multiple volleys of missiles into Israel, causing civilian casualties and sending people across the country repeatedly scrambling for bomb shelters. This cycle of attack and retaliation has created a significant humanitarian and security crisis. The United States' involvement in this conflict has been direct and profound. Over the weekend, the U.S. took the dramatic step of launching its own military airstrikes against 3 of Iran's primary nuclear facilities. This action, which reportedly included the use of powerful bunker-buster bombs, marked a shift in U.S. policy from ally and defender to a direct combatant alongside Israel. Following this, the U.S. administration announced that it had secured a complete and total ceasefire between the parties. However, this is where the latest information becomes unclear. Iran's foreign minister quickly contradicted the U.S. announcement, stating that no ceasefire agreement had been reached, only an offer to halt attacks if Israel ceased its own. This uncertainty was amplified when Israeli authorities reported at least one more barrage of missiles launched from Iran after the ceasefire was supposed to have taken effect, killing several people. In a notable development, Iran's most powerful proxy, Hezbollah, has so far stayed out of the direct state-on-state conflict, citing its own prior ceasefire with Israel. This is a decades-long conflict with incredibly high stakes for the entire world. We invite you to not only share your thoughts on the prospects for de-escalation, but also share in the comments how a conflict so far away impacts your sense of security in a connected world. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
First off, wow. Next up, good morning, Paul. Brother Paul, say good morning, say everybody. So want to make sure I shout him out. And then, I mean, this stuff is crazy, man. I mean, this cat is doing just anything he wants to do. I mean, he's not following, procedures. I mean, there's a procedure for going to war. You know what I'm saying? And Congress is involved. I mean, we know he's already shown he has no respect, for our ways of doing things, what's laid out in our Constitution about how all these things are supposed to be done, and then, over the weekend myself, yesterday I've heard, the ceasefire didn't take place and somebody was shooting after it was supposed to be a ceasefire. Now there's supposed to be a ceasefire again. He's getting on there talking about it's total destruction and and all this, but yet the military officials say, "Nah, ain't the damage you think we did." It is extremely scary and man, we got a leader we can't trust. We can't trust what he said. We can't trust the information that we're getting out of the White House. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bad part. We talking about countries that have nuclear capabilities. Okay, now supposedly Iran don't have a nuclear weapon. They say they don't.
They've been saying that. Israel's been saying that they do for the last almost decade. And I don't think they do because the atomic nuclear, I think, world
right, the inspectors.
They say they don't. His own Tulsi Gabbard from the Intelligence Administration, from the overhead,
said they don't.
Said they don't. He just something about Netanyahu has Trump wrapped around his finger, because look, when they give a speech, who went on first? Who would usually go on first? Trump. Trump is, I'll go first. I'll go first. I.
Oh, yeah, he's always about his ego.
Exactly.
I mean, but again, how are we supposed to feel secure when we got a president that we cannot trust what he's saying?
And Ed, I know, and this is what some people on the right are saying, that Obama went in and bombed. Other presidents went in and bombed other countries while they were in power.
But they had Congress's approval.
Yeah, okay.
They followed protocol.
They followed protocol.
And there's this meme that's saying about Barack went in here and bombed here. And they were naming all kinds of different ones.
So
right?
Let's go here.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about security clearances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Congress, Senate, all of these folks on that level, they have those types of clearances, right? So now they discuss this amongst themselves. No, do we know when they getting ready?
Where
No.
they were in a situation. So what you're saying, they were not in a situation room where were these
No,
decisions
what
being
I'm
made?
saying
Uh-huh.
is they some the president
Hmm.
and his Secretary of Defense and all of that, right, is Pentagon representatives, whatever. They come up with a plan, they present that to the Congress,
Hmm.
okay, which actually is both Congress and Senate, right?
Hmm.
Then they get their approval from them, and then they enact the plan that they submitted.
Okay. So he just
Okay,
he didn't even include them.
he didn't include them. He just had a plan and went for it.
And this is the difference. And yeah, because I seen that and I was about to start doing research and seeing like, because this is what they're pointing to, is pointing out to the last Democratic president, and it was Obama, and they were pointing at Biden as well, and they were stating that they went in and bombed this and that and that and that, but they didn't say nothing about that it went through Congress or nothing. They left that whole part out, and you have I know people on the right that agree with what's happening because they're sharing this, and they're making it seem like it's normal on what the way he went about it. They're making it even in the news, the language that they are using is saying and making it seem that Trump didn't have no choice.
Oh, you just kind of have to look at, even though they might be pointing fingers at Biden or Obama, they followed protocol. And you have to get with the individuals that know what they're doing. The Department of Defense and all of this. You got to talk with these individuals to let them know before you put these boots on
Hmm.
the ground what to do.
Yeah.
And for him to not even consult any of them that know best and just say, okay, I don't like the way this is going down, so let's do this. Let's go for it and do it. Then, he's putting the troops in danger.
Exactly. Well, it's not only that, it's also, Congress can bring up, okay, well, what we call it, when it's civilians and stuff like that, what's the risk, and all that kind of stuff, and
Oh,
then they,
The casualties of war.
you know what I'm saying, and they can come back and say, okay, can you do something else that's not going to endanger as many civilians or
Right.
something like that? You know what I'm
logistics
saying?
work. Yeah, they get to
Right.
see the behind the
Let it,
scene logistics work that we don't get to see, so they
right.
can
Hmm.
prevent more casualties, prevent any horrific things happening.
Now,
Right.
let's go here, where he's trying to claim at this point where he knows that they had nuclear weapons. No, you have to have proof, partner. Okay. And
Right.
every time that, Obama, Biden, whoever, any other president in history, they always had proof. It
Hmm.
wasn't an assumption. Okay. Just like when Obama went in there and got, what is that,
Bin Laden.
Bin Laden, right? He
Hmm.
knew exactly where he was at.
He did. Yes.
Okay, when they went and got what was it, the other dude from Iraq, Saddam,
Hmm.
they knew exactly where he was at.
Yes.
They went right in there, got his ass right up out that tunnel. Come on, boy, you ain't seen daylight in over a year. You need some sunshine on you. Come on out of that hole.
Right. Right.
But my point being, they had intelligence that they could verify, and they followed protocol.
Hmm.
That's what matters. This man, he hates the fact that there are equal branches of government. He does not want to bow down to nobody. He's doing everything he can to consolidate the power into his White House.
Mm-mm.
That's what he's doing. Right now, he's pretty much got the judicial.
And
I mean,
why would you do that? Think about it. Unless you're not thinking of leaving, maybe. I don't know.
well,
I don't know why he wants to
well, we
constantly.
already know he don't want to leave. Like I said, I'll say it again. If by chance we're lucky enough to get him out of office, he's gonna make all the money he can but his goal is to stay in office. But he's prepping himself and making all the money he can for himself.
So much money. I mean,
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
so much
because he
money.
knows once he gets out, he's locked up. He's got to
you know,
face all of the consequences of the
Maybe
behavior that he's
not
placed out
because
maybe
there.
not, maybe
maybe
not,
not. I think he's
Well,
maybe
gonna
he's
get
gotten
not.
away
away
with
with
it.
everything else, so you're right.
Right,
He might
but
Maybe
get
not.
away
when
with it. Yeah,
you know,
the
Maybe not.
Epstein, all that. He's
Hmm.
getting away with
well,
it because it sets a new precedent that they're gonna want to charge. I know before he got elected, maybe if he did not win, maybe he would have got locked up. But at this point,
Right.
uh,
And that's
after
something
even
totally new
after, I
too.
don't think so.
That's something totally new too, because you look at history. I mean, Nixon and all of these other presidents that couldn't get away with the things that he's doing.
I know.
So,
but see, they were respectable. They went ahead and resigned.
and
They didn't
resign.
wait to
Yes.
get impeached.
Yeah, this president has no shame.
No
No.
shame whatsoever. I mean,
No.
come on. He again, we know he ain't got no shame. I mean, he walks around with orange paint on his face all the time. I mean,
True.
so you
But I
know,
wouldn't want to appear inferior to the individuals that are smarter than me, that can help me with all of these things that I'm putting out there that's incorrect. Especially with this war that's about.
Exactly, but he doesn't think like that. He just thinks, I'm right. I know what I'm talking about. I know, I know, I know. That's all he says. I know. I know. But how do you know, partner? How do you know if you don't even listen to your own intelligence and to your
Right.
insider people?
And there's
well,
no I in team. He has to work with those individuals in order to have the best results. But you're right.
Otherwise,
He does always say,
yeah, otherwise,
I. And it should be we
uh-huh.
as Americans.
Yeah.
well, he ain't gonna work with nobody that ain't lining his pocket, and he's only gonna work them as long as they line in his pocket.
And
True.
it's bad for
True.
our women and men that are in boots, man, because then we leading them into a uh
Catastrophe.
yeah, catastrophe, unknown situation because the
Hmm.
intelligence he might not be listening. He just like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, let them all go in there, and they might be telling them no. The intelligence might be telling them no. There's this, there's that, and he might like, well, I know, and I know what I know, and he has that type of
He's
feel, and that's
changing
how he makes
everything.
decisions. Yeah.
I mean, I think we all had done. You all did a story about it had said the Gulf of Mexico, but since I think it's just happened where he changed it to the Gulf of America. It's
Mhm.
just so silly the stuff that he does. But anyway,
That
he's
is
putting us in danger, and as Americans, I don't know, how safe we should feel with this war. It'd be sad to have a whole nother war for no reason at all, just because of his dislike for what is it, Netanyahu?
well, no,
Nit,
he follows Netanyahu. That's the Israel prime minister. He was
uh-huh.
under fire as well. And Ed, if you're trying to speak, we cannot hear you.
No,
Yeah, he
I
was
wasn't trying to speak. I was
okay.
reading the comments.
Okay, he was under fire for some I think corruption charges. So he wants this war to keep going and keep going because he doesn't want to leave yet. He's gonna say it.
Okay,
Right, right.
But
so right quick,
mhm,
I'm gonna jump in here. Well, number one, welcome, my boy Whistler, joining us in the comments. Glad to see you up and about and moving around. But anyway, he says that uh, Obama and them did not follow protocol, and also that Obama has the most illegal
yes.
drone strikes of any other president.
That's what
So,
Oh, I
I
wasn't
thought.
aware
That's
of
what I
that.
also thought, Whistler, as well, because that's what they pointed out. But in my comment that I post back to that person, I said this is incorrect for any president because if they didn't go through Congress, it's illegal. And this is what happens when even a Democratic president didn't follow protocol. And now look to the extreme. Now we have Trump, someone that is extreme. And now it's like he's like, well, they didn't do it. I'm gonna go all the way in. That's why we always need to follow protocol, no matter if you're in the left or right. Whatever president it is needs to follow protocol because we do have three equal branches of government and to judicial court system as well that needs to be followed, not undermined.
well, this is true, you know. And again, Whistler says what we're talking about is speculation. Okay, well, again, we're speculating that Obama and them, followed protocol. I mean, again, I don't know. I just never seen a president in history do this before, and I'm being honest. I don't believe a whole lot that comes out of the right. I'm just
No,
being
well,
honest. I
the
just
different
don't.
things here, the different things was that uh Obama did it in secret and with the joint ventures of his intelligence agencies and the generals of the army and the military, right? Uh, Trump has them in office, but he's not listening to his intelligence apparatus, and that's Tulsi Gabbard. He he's probably undermining certain generals, like he always was doing in his Truth Social post. That he was talking mess about some generals because they didn't want to do what he was talking about. Even some retired generals as well. We never seen a president do that, and a president that does that publicly doesn't respect anybody in private or their opinions when it comes to real drastic measures like right now in these times of war, because he's gonna undermine everybody and not care what they think.
Right.
It,
Well, we're going to continue this conversation
yeah.
anyway because this next article is still on the same topic, kind of, sort of. So let's run a couple more promos and then we'll get into that one. So, did you know Blind United offers free training in assistive technology? We call them interest groups. We offer training in JAWS, NVDA, iPhone, iPad, as well as Meta Ray-Bans. We also have groups like support group, cooking groups, and crafting groups. There are also groups for entertainment like movie night and RS game night. For more information about all the interest groups that we offer, just email us at info@blindunited.org or visit our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Group. We would love to have you be part of the Blind United crew.
Throw on the blue, yeah, we rep that crew. Blind United strong, we staying true. From Smarter 4X, come get your fit. Royal with the logo, we all legit. 15 till July 26. After the party, we raising a fix. Get it now while the deal still live. Loyal to the cause, we thrive and survive. Rock the logo, show who you are. Standing for the vision, we've come so far. It's more than merch, it's a movement we live. Loyal to the cause with all we give. From baked goods to tech, we building the way. But that royal blue shirt, it's here to stay. Don't sleep, grab yours before the shift. After the 90s party, it's a price uplift. 15 till July 26. After the party, we raising the fix. Get it now while the deal still live. Loyal to the cause, we thrive and survive.
All right. I was reading them comments again. I lost track of what that promo was, but anyway.
It's about the t-shirts.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Kel. If y'all didn't know, you can help us support, what we're trying to do with Blind United, the whole organization. It ain't just coffee time. It's really about all the interest groups and stuff we do, to try to help folks within the community and, help them with their technology, just whatever, we got a lot of stuff going on. Check out our interest group. We got a lot of stuff going on. Matter of fact, you might find something that, you might want to start a group of your own. So, that's what this is all about. I mean, all these platforms and all that stuff costs money. So I hate that we have to do fundraising and stuff like that, but it's definitely a necessity. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this next one. This next one is actually more focused on, the reaction in Washington as well as the nation on Trump making this move and getting us involved in this war. Go for it, Pedro.
Hey, Blind United crew. Grab another cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this final article while the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran remains uncertain. The political aftershocks of President Trump's decision to order U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites are creating a firestorm here at home. The move has exposed deep and bitter divisions in Washington, D.C., and has sparked protests across the nation, igniting a fierce debate about presidential power and the path to war. The reaction on Capitol Hill was immediate and starkly divided along party lines. Republican leaders have largely rallied behind the president, with key senators praising the strikes as decisive action necessary to protect Israel and neutralize an existential threat. In sharp contrast, Democratic leadership in both the House and Senate has condemned the move as a reckless and unconstitutional act of war. The core of their argument is that the president violated the War Powers Act by committing an act of war against a sovereign nation without any authorization from Congress. The heart of the debate in Washington now centers on the limits of presidential authority. Democrats are demanding that the Secretaries of State and Defense testify in emergency hearings to explain the legal justification for the strikes. They argue that committing U.S. forces to a direct conflict of this magnitude constitutionally requires the approval of Congress, a debate that has now become the central political battle in the nation's capital, beyond the Capitol. The president's decision has sent waves of dissent across the country. Anti-war protests have erupted in major cities, including Washington, D.C., New York, and Chicago, with demonstrators gathering to demand de-escalation under the banner of No War with Iran. These gatherings reflect a segment of the American public deeply fearful of the United States being drawn into another major, prolonged conflict in the Middle East. Initial polling data reflects the political split, showing the American public is as divided as its leaders, with no national consensus on whether the military action was justified. The decision to use military force has created a powerful debate about presidential power and America's role in the world. We invite you to not only share your thoughts on this complex issue, but also share in the comments how events like these affect your trust in our nation's leaders. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
So, I mean, again, this guy here, he's just making it to where we're, assuming that I am wrong, as Wesley has pointed out. And I mean, I think you kind of agreed with him on a couple points there, Pedro. But anyway, if I am wrong, then this guy is the one that's making us now really look in and have that discussion about what their powers are. Like I said, my understanding is you need Congress's approval. That's our protocol, all this kind of stuff. I mean, I know there are instances, like imminent danger where you got to have your facts, I believe, before you act. But again, it's making us have this conversation just because he's doing everything all
Well,
willy-nilly.
yes, he's doing all winning nearly, and the differences are that he has an incompetent team. Like what was his name? Seth had what was his name? The one for that used that one app and the Signal app and the bombing.
Yeah. That's his
Hex-
Secretary of State, Hegseth,
Yes,
Pete Hegseth.
yes, and having people like that in competent positions, and even as Trump, we know he, even if you're in his team, he's ready to smack you down real fast and say you're dumb, you don't know what you're talking about. Just like how he dismissed his Tulsi Gabbard, and he's the one that appointed her to that position. Uh, Even as we've seen with the FBI director, him with his $100,000 makeup room that he was trying to do on the taxpayers' dollar, we see the incompetence all over.
Again, that's Hegseth.
Yes, even though I'm telling you,
He thinks he's still at Fox doing, news. I mean, dude, you don't need a makeup studio. Come on.
and if that's what he's worried about, I don't think he needs that job, because the FBI has bigger tasks they need to worry about, like the Epstein files and who's all up in them, and release the true Epstein files.
Well,
But you know what I mean? That aside, wars, it's only making the warmongers rich, the people that have invested in these weapon developer companies and things like that. Um Raytheon and Lockheed Martin is gonna make a lot of money. Like all these weapon
Boeing, all of
manufacturers,
them.
Oh yeah.
they're gonna make a lot of money, and they've been making money on us trying to use these sell these weapons as well to other countries. Plus, I remember the other excuse that Trump used was not for this, not for the Iran, but before when he attacked other places. Well, we have them sitting there and they're getting old, and we need newer ones. So that was the excuse I remember last time. Remember?
Well, I mean, again, it's always whatever he's going through at the moment, Uh,
Whatever the wind is blowing.
yeah.
And
But
it's amazing, how ironic after this parade, all of a sudden now all of this stuff is occurring. It's like it makes me wonder if it was just a setup to okay, see what I have now. Watch what I do.
right. But see where my mind is at really, and I'm being
Mm,
honest, we need to actually, as a country, we need to define, this thing, this process, right? And procedures, right?
Right.
And make it to where no, it's not debatable. This is what it is. You follow these
mm-hmm.
procedures before you do anything. You know,
Right.
I mean, again, we can is
We might not be
beyond.
able to do that at this moment the
Well, no, we're not
way.
going to be able to do it at this moment.
I know. But
You
see,
know,
this just shows that once a Democratic president's back on, and if we have the House, like with the Senate, we need to move on that because it's showing us right now the extreme of that. Because we were fine with it. Some leaderships were fine with it when Barack did it, and I didn't want to say nothing because I was like, "Am I tripping about the Obama not following the procedures?" You know. But yes, but the difference is, hold on, the difference is Obama did it under the Patriot Act because it was terrorism under 9/11. Iran is not covered under that Patriot Act because it didn't attack us under the 9/11 attacks, right? There should be something within that line. And I think they're trying to use like the Patriot Act and put them under terrorism. But when it came to the Patriot Act, it was terrorism due to the 9/11 attacks. Hopefully, I'm not misinterpreting that, but we may be able to look that up later on and bring that. I think
right.
that's what's the difference is because Obama did it under the Patriot Act, and I think this Iran situation does not fall under that terrorism under that Patriot Act due to 9/11. That could be the differences right there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It could very well could be. I mean, but again, because we're having that debate now, we need to get this stuff straight. I mean, moving forward. I mean, if I'm gonna give him credit for one thing, I'm gonna give him credit for the fact that he's got us now rethinking how we need to refine
Mhm.
our constitution
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
clarify how things have to be done. You know what I'm saying?
And there has
Right.
to be
They
a
gave us the
consequence.
guidelines, but they gave us the ability also to amend things as we move forward.
Yes, and that there needs to be a reaction. There needs to be called for impeachment if that's what we're gonna go for, no matter if it's left or right. It has to be it has to be a consequence. Otherwise, if you put a provision and there's no consequence, why are they gonna upheld that provision
Right.
Uh,
or
Right.
amendment? Like,
I mean, it's just again, my thing right now, especially with this event, again, Israel, Iran, and us, we all have nuclear capabilities. Again, I'm not saying that
well, they
Iran
have
does not have, well, hold on. I'm not saying that Iran does or does not have nuclear weapons, but because they're already working with nuclear power, it's a possibility. Again, it's a
yes,
big country. I'm not going to say that they cannot hide a nuclear. facility where they're refining the uranium to get it to the purity that they need for a weapon. I'm not saying that it's
Okay.
possible,
Okay.
right?
Because
I
they
get
don't
what
have
you're
to
saying.
tell
I get
us.
what you're saying, but
They don't have to tell us that they have
no,
something. I mean, we're the ones that are
And they can
showing all
hide
our
it from
power.
they can also
yes,
hide it
yes,
from the inspectors.
That's
but
right.
why? But before, when they were allowing the inspectors in with the nuclear treaty that they have over there, that Trump ripped up, right? They never found anything. They were allowed on all the facilities. But why would Iran say if you attack us nuclearly, well, who they called for? They said that someone, I don't know if it was Pakistan or which country, but they said they will be dealt with them nuclear weapons from them because Iran said that because they don't have nuclear weaponry. Why would they have to point to their allies to back them up? Because they don't have it. That the propaganda is that they might have it, so let's go because they might have it. But everybody, like the intelligence community, saying no. The World Atomic Nuclear Association. I forgot the proper name of
Right.
the
I know what you're talking about. It's
yeah.
the inspectors. They the ones that
Yeah,
go
and
around and
they're
inspect
saying no.
everybody.
The world courts and all that, they know that they don't. They have reports from that agency as well. And that's the World of Atomic Agency. So, if they're all telling us from different angles, from different agencies that they don't, only this one dude is like, yeah, 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 they do. Who are we gonna go? Who are we gonna believe? The more credible reports and the ones that are more reports of no than the one report of yes. Netanyahu is the one that's telling them yes. Netanyahu and Israel saying that. But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
Uh, that sounded really funny, right?
It did.
I'm just saying. But think
I,
I'm
about it.
just
If
saying
think
it
about it,
don't.
why would they have to point to someone else to come to their defense with a nuclear arms? I'm just saying.
Right,
Okay.
right.
right. We got you, Petro.
I mean, but again, we got to get this stuff straight, man. I mean, seriously,
That's
this
true.
stuff
That's
is.
true.
We
And
got
the
to
article did
refine
say
this
they were
stuff.
protesting there,
Well, yeah, I mean, again, of course, we're going to protest. That's what Americans do. We will protest. That's why it's in our Constitution to have a right to do that,
Right.
Yeah. And I
But
set you up for the outro. I gotta go. I gotta go.
go ahead. But at the same time, like I said, we got to change this stuff. I mean, all of this, I'm not saying that we want to have the strongest military on the planet. I mean, that's part of our, power, right? But at the
Right.
same time, we don't have to spend as much money on it as we do. You know what
I
I'm saying?
agree. I agree.
I mean, there's so many things. I mean, and again, how come we got to have these private contractors developing this stuff? I mean, you're making it a contract. Oh, well, we need such and such, so and so, and then now you got all these people investing all this money to develop what it is you're asking for. Now they're going to charge us because they had to make that initial investment. If they get lucky enough to win the contract, they're going to charge us 5 times what the damn thing costs anyway.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, I don't understand why you can't just hire the best people, the same people that are, and pay them, what they worth. The same people that are developing this technology for these Boeing and Lockheed Martin and all these other companies, they could be government employees. You know what I'm saying? And that would cut down on all that cost anyway. And guess what you just did? Now you done took all of the schematics, all of the, the plans and, all of this about what you're doing, and you took it out of to where it can't be leaked because it's within the government dome, if you want to go there.
Right, right.
Does that make sense?
It does. They can't tell you. They can't say anything about what they have.
But again, it is what it is, y'all. So, but we got to make some changes and, do your thing, man. Advocate for, America. You know what I'm saying? Write your Congress, write your state, write your, your senators and so on and so forth, whatever. Everybody that has anything to do with creating law, if we put pressure on our local officials are going to put pressure on the state officials. Our state officials are going to then put pressure on our government officials, But at the same time, we can have the ability to put pressure on all of them at the same time as well. So, do your thing, man. Try to make this stuff, because if we don't, we're just going to end up killing ourselves off, Or, I mean, I don't know. I hate to think about, the possibilities of what could happen if this thing goes sideways. It's not pleasant, So anyway, please like, subscribe, comment, share, do all that other good stuff that we do. We appreciate it, and we will definitely be back with you again tomorrow for another hopefully interesting show. And man, we just appreciate you. So everybody have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.